Hello and welcome everybody. It is 10:30 on a Saturday night. Thank you very much for joining us at this late hour. We are about to dive into Untold Chronicles Ionia. A lovely setting, sort of Romano-Greek fantasy. But of course, set in our Untold Chronicles campaign. No familiars yet here. I'm sure there will be. I love them. What's not to love about your summoned little creatures? It's the players that want to cast Find Familiar that I have an issue with. Anyway, thanks for the distraction. We only have an hour and a half, so less of my ramblings. Some thank yous and welcomes. Welcome everybody into chat. Thank you for hanging out, as I've just said. If you are watching on video on demand or YouTube, thank you very much again. We do rapidly need to thank HeroForge for being very generous, allowing us to use their images. Many of the character images are designed using HeroForge, a wonderful way to create your own custom miniatures, get them 3D printed. You can find them at www.heroforge.com. Please note that anything mentioned on the stream may not represent the view or beliefs of HeroForge, a Sky Castle Studios LLC product. What we'll do is we will rapidly introduce our players, and then we will do a quick catch up of where we have got to so far in this game. We ended at quite an interesting point, but first and foremost, let us meet our players tonight. And I'm going to just go across in the order that they have loaded up into Fantasy Grounds. So, Lucius, who are you? Welcome.
Good evening, all. I'm Kedro, and I'll be voicing Lucius Aurelius Ventana, Scion of the House.
Fantastic. Thank you for joining us again. I'm really enjoying your character. It kind of adds a very interesting dynamic to this group. In fact, you all do in this one. It is very much a pleasure to sort of see the role play between all of the characters. Then we move to Firaz.
Hello, I am Stuart, or Brook729 in various places, and tonight I am playing Firos.
Excellent stuff. Welcome aboard again. I speak to you more than I speak to my wife. I'm not sure whether I should be saying that on stream, going out to the wider world.
It's fine. It's not like she'll find out about
Exactly, yeah. And then we move to Oriana.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah. I'm Yig in Discord, and Oriana is a Hecate priestess.
And we'll begin covering some interesting bits and pieces tonight about that. Last but certainly not least, Bilios.
Evening all, I'm Andy, and I'll be playing Bilius Brasti, the Satyr Rogue, who is about to feel like a small schoolchild, I think.
Well, we'll see. I mean, we will see. So, previously on Untold Chronicles Ionia, there was a major disaster. One of the tavernas had run dry of wine, almost ending the world as Bilios knew it. They decided to try and investigate and find out. The taverna owner pointed them in the direction of the vineyard he gets his regular supplies from. Travelling to there, they uncovered that the owner of the vineyard had gone to try and find her son, had gone missing. Further investigations led to the fact that he had started worshipping Hades, god of the underworld. This in itself wasn't a bad thing, but the more they questioned and uncovered the fact he was delving into the darker aspects of Hades. The mother had told them that he was spending much of his time up the side of the mountain, passing through the Valley of Whispers at a shrine. They decided to investigate and went up encountering a harpy on the way that tried to lure them off the cliffs. They put an end to that and liberated much coin and wealth that she had taken from her victims. Finally, they encountered the shrine, and there were strange things going on. They were attacked by this dark and necrotic mist. Offerings on the outside of the temple had been taken, and inside they found this child taking part of a ritual. A ritual not to Hades, though, but to another god of death, one of the newer gods, the seer, onlooking, encouraging. They put a stop to this, subduing the child, and actually at the same time rescuing some more captives that were to be sacrificed to this death god. There was some misunderstandings about a number of our heroes taking coin and items from the shrine, but Oriana soon corrected them in their nature, and they fought off an aspect of this death god as well. Taking the child home, they completed the task at hand, but Oriana was not satisfied and dragged the other three back to the temple of Hecate to look deeper. Supposedly, the information that they had uncovered seemed to indicate that many of the gods were not taking their divine duties correctly, and that they were being pushed out or replaced by these new gods. This weighed heavily on Oriana, and this is where we now join the scene at the temple of Hecate. Oriana moving up the stairs, ready to perhaps do an All Grey or a ritual, or just merely to put the three people that she believed had tried to steal from the temple of Hades right. So that's enough talking from me. The camera begins to pan down to this beautiful structure. Hecate, goddess of magic, and the sun is shining. This is Ionia, the beautiful sea, the beautiful blue sky, the nice heat tempered by the sea breeze. It is almost idyllic, but as you walked through the streets, you did notice signs of the new gods everywhere. There was discord, strife, sleep, envy, all creeping in. Subtle. To the untrained eye, no one would notice any different, but to the information that you picked up, Oriana, it is worrying. So the camera picks up upon you. What are you doing?
So my first instinct is that we need to go and speak with one of the priests. So I have taken the burden of the responsibility for punishing them and helping them to learn from their mistakes. And so I kind of feel like that should be something that we do within the temple with one of the other priests. So my first thing would be to see if there are any other priests around kind of available
Yeah,
to speak to.
indeed. There is sort of a priestess, really. A lot of the priests, as we call them, are female within this temple. She goes by the name Eliona, and she is one of, not quite a high priestess at the moment, but well thought of, stern looking. She is of an older age, probably pushing sort of late 40s, early 50s human. There are wise lines across her face, but you know that she is indeed a stern mistress. Ariana, it is good to see you back. I had heard words that you were looking into something. How goes it?
It has been a troubling time, that much is true. I have returned with news, I think, that is not all good, and some individuals who I would like to seek advice on a suitable punishment.
Okay. What, these here?
Yes, yes. As
Ah,
part of the journey that we have made, we visited a temple. A temple recently turned from Hades to Thanatos. I'll wait and see if there's a response from her when I mention that name.
yeah, I mean, Thanatos is a known sort of minor death god. Thanatos, you say? Surely not.
Yes, the news that I have somewhat relates to that, the fact that they believe that they are in ascendance because as they would describe them, older gods are stepping back from us, withdrawing.
What? Withdrawing? No. No. Well, surely not. You must have heard wrong. Look, and she kind of indicates, and you kind of look out of the temple, and this is kind of a temple district, and you can see many of the other temples, the priests are going about their work. There are these beautiful statues. Do you have evidence? Do you have anything under than the word of this child? Did you see anything with your own eyes?
I have seen the auguries in the entrails that the so-called emissary, is it emissary, did he call himself, of this Thanatos,
Probably
the
Herald.
chosen one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Found it talked of a blood wind coming. They claimed between him and the seer that gods such as Hades feared this blood wind and were um, closing the gates and withdrawing from us, and that the other gods would follow suit. And in their place would come other gods such as Thanatos and Nyx and Strife and many others, lesser gods.
Oh, this is indeed troubling. Um, and you say that these three, I recognize them. Bilios, I can perhaps easily guess why you should be punished. Firoz, I have to say, if this is correct, I am disappointed. But you,
I just
Lucius, I'm still talking.
yes, miss.
Lucius, you have, your family have been good to us. Your donations to the temple have always been well received. Um, Surely not you. There must be some mistake, Oriana. He comes from a noble house.
That may well be the case. Perhaps their education is lacking. It does not matter the standing of the god. You do not take offerings that have been given to them.
Surely, Lucius, you may speak. What do you say?
Is there a statue of Hecate that has the three faces
Yes, yes,
near us?
yeah, absolutely. You're kind of in the main sort of temple at the moment.
I'll slowly turn and waddle my way towards it and pausing in front of it. We stand appropriately at a crossroad of the gods we currently venerate. The young gods wish to place. We do not challenge them. Will we not lose our god? Will we not lose Hecate?
See, devote. I'm sure that these other two reprobates, obviously, Firoz, you probably were misled by this one here. And I can understand that temptations and perhaps being forced to drink too deeply into your cups is understandable. But if you wish to press the matter against Lucius, and let me remind you, his noble family that have been good supporters of the temple, then so be it, Oriana.
I would say only that the actions that they took, not within my sight, but the actions that they took resulted in this god, albeit a lesser god, summoning their voice, puppeting one of their followers to punish them, and they would now be dead were it not for my assurance that I, as a priestess of Hecate, would take this upon myself. I have given that promise, and it has to be followed through. I bring it to you for your judgment.
Okay. This has put me into an awkward position, Oriana. Very awkward. Please, the four of you, take a side chamber. I have some reflection. I will try and speak to Hecate herself, and I will speak with you shortly. She kind of nods.
I just sort of raise my hand.
Firos puts his hand on yours and lowers it back down again.
Well, I was just going to say that some of the things that we took were living people, you know? Kind of can't let them just be.
They were not the offerings, Bilios, were
I mean,
they?
they kind of were.
No, it's the
Little
expensive
bit.
things that Lucius was taking.
She walks away, leaving you to your arguments. It is up to you whether you wish to retire to. It's a small side chamber. It is comfortable. There is, without a doubt, a kind of another small shrine to Hecate in there, where libations can be poured. It is up to you, though. You are not under any kind of house arrest or anything. You could at any moment do a runner. Those of you who could run. Although you would probably be stopped by Oriana, obviously.
That is more terrifying.
But it is up to you. Is there any conversations that you want to have amongst each other whilst you are waiting? Or we can cut soon for the arrival of this priestess again.
Could I briefly speak to her after she leaves the room and then go back into the room, as it were?
Absolutely. Do you wish to speak to her outside of the earshot of the others?
I do, yes.
Okay. So you approach, leaving the three of them alone, which, who knows what is going to happen? I will come back to the other three of you in a minute. And okay, you catch up with her. She says, yes, Ariana.
I just wanted to make clear that despite what they have done, their transgression, we would not have uncovered this information without each of them, and we would not have returned the captives who would have been sacrificed to the god had they not been there. And I think that that is something that when you commune with Hecate should be known.
This is good. I will speak of their deeds, and I will let Hecate decide on any kind of lenience. But you have spoken for them, and I shall repeat those words in my prayers.
Thank you. I'll leave her to her
Yeah.
Thoughts, and go back to the others and see if the room is empty.
Yeah. Did you get up to any shenanigans?
I think that Firos would have looked to Lucius once the room was once the two priestesses left. Lucius, why were you taking those things from there?
The power of this god cannot be allowed to. If it does, subsume the power. Heck,
So-
Hades in this.
So
This temple was a temple to Hades. It's already sacred.
I don't know if it's just me, if you're breaking up a little bit when you're saying that stuff, mate.
Yeah, I think so.
Sorry.
It's okay. You might be on push to talk, which means that when you're speaking sort of softer,
All right. Let's
it,
try this again.
it might just be that.
The temple was already desecrated. It's a temple to Hades. Desecrated, sacrilege made, which truly is the more important problem. The upstart young god attempting to take Hades' place, attempting to displace Hecate and all the other gods.
Yeah, that's probably not good, is it? But I thought
Quite.
you were quite rich, aren't you? I thought you'd have enough money for this having to steal from gods.
It's not a matter of stealing, reducing. Gods most often gain greater aptitude followers through devotion. Taking that away from Thanatos, his brothers. I see before us a need. One powerful that we will end up having to take up.
This is making my head hurt.
Come, let us pray to Hecate. And I'll go kneel in front of the statue, pull out my small holy symbol, and begin doing so.
Excellent stuff. So you arrive, Oriana, to this pious scene of prayers being said to Hecate, and it looks genuine. I mean, of course, Bilius, what are you doing whilst these two were talking?
Oh, as soon as their backs are turned, I'm sneaking out.
Okay.
Oh,
I think this is an opposed role between Firoz and Lucius compared to your stealth, so perception versus stealth, to see whether you notice.
good luck.
Wow, that's quite good.
Not so good.
Okay. It doesn't mean that they're going to try and stop you. Yeah, they both they both
As I bump into one of those sensors or something on the way out.
yeah, just kind of rattles and kind of incense is scattered about.
I'm imagining as you turn around to look to see if anybody's noticed you, and you see Lucius still praying away. You turn back to start walking out and walk straight into Firos. Going somewhere?
I was just gonna, stretch my legs a bit. Make sure that that everyone we got back from the temple is good. Settled, everything. They really shouldn't put those Bernie things right in the doorway.
No, they probably shouldn't. But I think it's probably better you walk into one of them than Oriana as she comes back through the door.
I'm very good at not walking into people. You withstanding. You seem to be very good at standing right in the way. I'll just go pray. I'll be go pray. Pray is good.
Let's join Lucius.
And it is at this point, Oriana, that all three of them seem to be behaving themselves, having missed Bilios's attempted escape. Time passes. You are joined again after about half an hour with the priestess. She is now with one of the high priestesses, her face actually covered with a mask dedicated to Hecate. You recognise her though, Oriana, but the mask it's disturbing. It means something important has been uncovered. Something that goes beyond the authority of the priestess that you brought this issue to. You notice both of their arms, while washed, are still stained with the blood of the recent auguries, digging deep into the entrails, calling out Hecate's name. So, it is most interesting if the auguries are right. There is much at play here, and it seems, Oriana, you are correct. Between us here, this should go no further for the moment. It seems that you are right. The gods, the very gods, are going quiet. The priests of the main gods are not hearing their words anymore. Of Zeus, Poseidon, Hades, Hera, Aphrodite, Apollo, Ares, Artemis, Athena, Demeter, Dionysus, Hephaestus, Hermes, and Hestia. Their voices all gone silent. Hecate is, and always has been seen to be, and below those 14. Her voice is still strong, but she says their priests cannot hear them. They have withdrew. Their priests are pretending. They are pretending that they can still hear. This is bad. To have mortals speaking for the divine will only lead to ruin. And perhaps these gods maybe will be replaced by those new gods eventually. That is equally as bad, if not worse. So, we called out to Hecate to try and find an answer, a direction. And she spoke. She spoke of something called, and they pause for a moment, anarchy. And I'll put that into chat for you. Probably remember how to do this. Anarchy. Something that seems to tie into a prophecy that you brought to our attention. The light will be in the shadowest darkness. The light, we believe, is anarchy, and the shadowy darkness, we believe, is a tomb. About half a day's travel here, a place of darkness, a place that an individual not righteous to be buried amongst the churches, amongst the temples, in civilized graveyards, an individual known as Irene Scaphidou, a gossip monger, a thief, a rogue, also known as the Harpy, for pitting brother against father, mother against daughter, twisting to gain advantage. A terrible person. But from the prophecy that we have had, it seems that it was this Irene that has secreted away the scrolls of Enarxy, which will hopefully show us the light, the way. We want you to travel there, and we want you to uncover these scrolls and bring them back so that we may decipher them, so that we may find the way. This temple, not really a temple, this tomb, we do not care for anything other than the scrolls. These individuals may take their pick of the loot. It matters not. Items sold, items sold, items stolen. There is another thing. Hecate spoke not of your names, but of others, that you were to be together. The names she used are the twice sober, the blood-drenched athlete, Hecate Sung, and the Nether King. I don't suppose this means anything to any of you.
Does it?
I don't know.
Andy?
Does it mean anything to you?
I mean, the twice sober sounds incredibly ominous. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this blood-soaked athlete either.
Oh, no, that sounds like you. That sounds a lot like you.
I'd say the same about this twice sober, but that's twice more than you ever have been.
Well, he was sober once when he was born.
I wouldn't be so sure.
Not for long.
He was sober when the inn ran out of ale.
I
No,
don't know
I
about
was sobering. Sobering. Very different.
Are you telling me that you are not sober now?
I mean, I'm getting there, and frankly, I don't like it.
And that would leave Hecate's song, and I think there's only one here that would seem to match up with that, and the Nether King. At which point, Firos looks over at Lucius nervously.
Did I not say this? Colin?
Well, these are names that Hecate have used. Whether they bear resemblance to any of you or not, and do not know. But the path has been clear, and their punishment is to travel with you. And hopefully you can instill duty into them.
So, just to be crystal clear, stealing from a desecrated temple, inappropriate. Tomb robbing, acceptable?
It depends whose tomb. And this is a tomb of a thief, a terrible individual. If the tomb hasn't already been desecrated, then the items should technically be gathered and maybe returned to their owners, if that is what you are volunteering, Lucius. A noble cause.
Noble indeed, definitely qualified. So, if a worse enough god, temple god, then it would be.
Well, all I am saying is we require the scrolls to be returned to try and find a path, the light, the beginning of the journey.
Of course. We should probably, for this endeavor, and potentially fly.
Okay, well, I think all that has been said as soon as you are ready, begin to travel to the tomb, and they begin to give you directions where they believe it is. It is into the wilds outside of the city, about 50 odd miles away. You will find the Kai Stonos River, and following that river basin, you should easily come across the tomb at some point.
What time is it, Andy?
It's a good question. You descended down. It's probably late afternoon, coming into early evening. They're not suggesting that you set out tonight, giving a little bit of time to go about your business should you wish to.
I think, Billy, you look like you could probably do with a little bit of a lie down.
Drink. No, drink. Yes, excellent. Good idea. The olive branch has got its wine back, just saying.
My stuff is there as well.
Exactly. Come on, let's go. And I'm pretty sure that the first round is on my Sata friend that we picked up from, being nearly killed. So,
I feel
win-win.
that's going to backfire on you, but yeah. Should we, Ionia, Lucius, do you want to join us there, or do you have other things you want to attend to?
Any more chastising?
It's a sharp kick on.
Aurania probably just raises an eyebrow at Bilios at that point when he mentions chastising. I will join you shortly. There are some things that I need to take care of here first. Shall say.
Okay. Lucius, are you heading out with them, or have you got business to take care of as well?
Rest and resupply.
Okay.
We have gems and stuff.
Yeah. Perfect. So you go your ways, and there's no real issue. Indeed, the first round, in fact, most of the drink is on your rescued friend. Yeah, go on.
Once Firos has made sure that Bilios has safely made it there and is having a few in a safe environment, he will probably slip away a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to head over to where the gladiatorial fights occur.
Yep.
Going to try and find the little statue to Ares that he used to. He never really followed much of this religious stuff, but he always used to say a few words before going out for a fight.
Mm-hmm.
When he gets there, he's going to pull out the head of the harpy that we took out
Okay.
and put it there as a little offering. Not sure quite why he's doing this, but feeling somehow different after his recent excursion.
Okay.
And after
Yeah.
that,
You can do that. Give me a perception roll. Yeah, the shrine. There's a couple of people. Again, Ares is one of the more disliked gods. Just so you're aware, there's a difference between Ares and Athena.
I think this was probably going to be a bit more hidden away in the competitors' fight.
It's not illegal or frowned upon, but Ares is the god of courage, war, bloodshed, and violence. It's moody, unreliable, and it represents the chaos of warfare in contrast to Athena, who's a goddess of military strategy and skill. And there's a couple of individuals that are doing a similar sort of thing, leaving stuff down at the shrine. And I'm sure he has forsaken me. This is the third fight that I have lost now, and normally when I call out to him, I feel instilled with the blood of the fight, the fury, and I don't know. There is something strange. And you hear this conversation between the two of them. They look genuinely confused. One of them cuts his hand and drips blood into a bowl in the shrine, and they go off. But you overhear that scene.
Mm-hmm. I think after leaving the head there, saying a few words, overhearing that, I think you'll then head back towards the olive branch.
Cool. That is good. Meanwhile,
how bad Bilias has got.
Yeah, we'll come to that in a second. Lucius, what rest and preparations are you up to?
Basically, I just want to see about exchanging out the gem for cash,
Yeah.
and potentially picking up a 100 GP pearl.
Yeah. Okay, so let us have a quick look at. We'll clear this off for you now. Boop. Come on. I'll do sorting this out here. Come on, fancy grounds. Yeah, it's not happening.
I mean, if Staffis wants to come along with us, and he's gone.
He's gone. I just want to hang around with you losers now that he's free. Might want to stay around with Lucius, who is a noble. So let us have a quick look. You have 105 gold. You've got what gem was it?
So that was in the original.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
FTU.
Can you
I
remember?
think it was 50 gold.
50 gold. Okay. So we
I
will.
know there was 160.
Yeah. So you've got sort of what 165, we'll say gold, and you want to spend 100 of that on a pearl, yes?
Yep, and then another 10 for the incense type things for Find Familiar.
Perfect. I'm going to enjoy that. Yeah, perfect. So you've picked up a pearl. There's no real need to put it into your inventory. We know you've got the component now for identify, and you picked up is it just one set of herbs, or do you want to, just in case, and I'm just saying your familiar has an unfortunate accident,
Yep.
and you might need to resummon him again, did you want a second set of herbs as well?
Yeah, just to be safe.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so you've got enough to summon your familiar and enough to resummon it should you need to. Are you going to spend time summoning your familiar now?
Certainly.
Okay. Do you want to quickly describe cinematically what you are doing and what your familiar looks like?
Actually, I'll leave which familiar shows up to you, if that's okay.
Oh, okay.
Ooh. This will probably help you in the long run, because it will make Andy less likely to kill it off immediately.
I don't know. I've been given narrative agency now. That could be.
But really, I'd go back to the estate, kind of mage casting room, scrolling out in chalks the various different runes and symbols, sitting in the middle amongst small lit candles, lit incense, and then slowly praying, waiting, and expending that magical energy to summon forth whatever chooses to come through.
Okay. Yeah. I love the idea of a fish appearing and just flapping about on the floor. It's like, really? Boom, 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 boom. So this is nice. So yeah, we'll cut back to that. That is going to take boom, boom, boom. Okay. In terms of your character, the nature of the familiar, because it's not really a creature, it is either a celestial, fey, or fiend. Which one would you choose?
It could go either way. I'm true neutral.
Okay, I shall have fun with that as well. And would you describe yourself as devoted to Hecate?
Yes. So I was initially a kind of child initiate within the temple,
Hmm.
but Hecate showed me a better path to knowledge and magic.
Okay. Um, okay, this is interesting. This is very interesting. Okay. I think this might be perfect. Okay, so whilst you are casting this spell and focusing, collecting, it takes a little bit of time. You see your family as well. We cut back to the olive branch. Oh, sorry, we don't cut back to the orange branch because Oriana, you were waiting to do something before we catch up with everybody else. So, what are you doing?
Partly it's just making sure that she has permission to take whatever that she needs in terms of being able to do auguries while they're away, because she will be away obviously for quite a while. And also any religious rites that occur. My initial thought was like death rites, but also like cleansing rites, getting rid of undead, all of those things that, you need those little sort of bits and pieces for the ritual element of that, to make sure that she has permission to take that with her. But also to see whether, from speaking to the priestesses who have done the auguries, whether there was any sense any sense of where they might come across these individuals who would help them.
They kind of firstly give you full permissions to take whatever resources from the temple that you need, including things like holy or blessed water. They want you to be obviously sensible about it, but at the same point, that is what they are there for, so you can do your holy duty. So that is the first thing. And
I would also like to give them all of the silver pieces.
okay. So you can just cross those off. They take them, and obviously you are 100% certain that they go to the upkeep of the temple. Without a doubt. I mean, I'm assuming you've been more or less brought up here from a very young age. So, with that done, they then sort of say, sorry, what do you mean find these other people?
The augury that you had, you said, did you not, that we would meet them? Or we are them?
I think it is binding you together. I think these are cryptic names that have been chosen. These are names of prophecy. And if we are right, then looking at the choices, the blood-drenched athlete, the gladiator, Firaz, the
Yes.
twice sober, He might never have been sober yet. He might only be sober twice in his life. He might not like it, but perhaps that is indicating to Bilios. I do not think that Lucius could be Hecate's son, so that perhaps refers to yourself. And then the strange one, the Nether King. I mean, it could be the Never King or the Nether King. It is difficult. He is of noble blood. It would be most interesting to see what secrets he has within his family. Whether there is things that we are not aware of. But I am sure if it does not indicate the other three, then by default it must be Lucius. There have been other songs, other voices of gods. This is a high honor if it is indeed you. Something that none of us could ever dream of being.
Oriana will probably look very humbled at that point.
I think there is more involved in this. These scrolls that I've asked you to find hopefully will shed the light from the dark and hopefully will show us a path to take. It's not going to be long before the towns, the cities fall into chaos. The avarice and the desires and passions of the priests, unchecked by the very gods themselves, will bring this land to ruin. It is fortunate that at least gods outside of those 14 have stayed and have drawn the line against whatever this blood wind is. The gods are fickle. It is concerning that they have chosen to flee, to hide, not to stick to their duties. Unlike our beloved Hecate.
Well, have no doubt we will return and we will bring these scrolls with us, however long that takes.
Perfect. Well, maybe soon, when it is proven that you are Hecate's son, you will be giving me instructions.
She will probably bow and sort of carry on about, sort of like excuse herself from the conversation to be able to carry on getting her bits and pieces together.
Okay. She bids you farewell and safe journeys. She says, take your time and collect whatever resources you need from the temple. Okay, so you go about that business. At this point, Firoz and Bilios. Bilios, your friend, whose name I need to look up again, sorry. One of the problems with only doing this once every 2 weeks.
It's Lazarus.
Yeah, I think it's...
Of course you've remembered that name.
he's there and he's more than happy. He's actively encouraging you into a drinking game where he's buying the wine and things are getting a little sort of raucous. And Firoz, you are the one that walks into this.
Oh, not
Firoz,
again.
Firoz. You need
Yeah.
it's great, right? So we get the wine, right? It's on the
Yeah.
table. So you get your 3 cups all lined up in a row. And then you have to grab them from in front of the other person and drink them before they do. Come on, let's do it.
Firoz shakes his head, then sits down. All right, let's. Do we need to count it in, or?
Okay, so Laz, right, get ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
And-
And he starts drinking. He just, before you get to say it, he sees his arm go. He's not waiting for a countdown. He's cheating blatantly.
Firoz reaches in slowly, wanting to look like he's playing the game, but not wanting to get too drunk.
I'm going to try and outdrink.
Okay.
Try and outdrink Firoz, but if he's not going for it, I'll also be trying to outdrink Lazarus as well.
Okay, I'm going to let you have a little bit of narrative agency here. You can use sleight of hand to sort of rapidly manipulate the mugs and drink it down, or you can choose to try and keep the liquid down. A Constitution saving throw.
Seeing as he's cheated, I'm also going to cheat, and every time he drops an empty cup, I'm going to swap it with one of my full ones.
Perfect.
And just be pretending to drink the other ones.
Yeah. So sleight of hand, I think, is what you are doing as you're swapping these cups. Oh, that's good. It is unlikely he's going to beat that, so I'm going to give you victory there. And in fact, I think that is probably, he's been having quite a lot to drink as well, a critical hit. And he's just drinking and drinking and drinking. It's at this point, though, that you realise he's doing all the drinking and you're not doing any. You're not entirely sure that this is, you're going to win, but you're going to drink without getting drunk. You're going to win without getting drunk.
Firoz's one still in front of him, or is Firoz? Are you starting to drink, or are you just got like the one?
Firoz will have picked it up, sipped it slowly while watching this going on, and then put down the empty one. Think I lost.
You still got to. Juma, I'm gonna have these. Seeing that he's being a spoilsport, I'm gonna take his 2 other ones from in front of him, and while still swapping out empty ones, just be drinking another one to keep doing that until Lazarus notices.
Okay, and after a while he does, and it's just laughter, and he kind of slaps you on the shoulder, and he just orders even more. He doesn't even know what the competition was about. He's just enjoying his sign as there is raucous activity and drinking going on between the 2 of you. I am pleased to be alive today, and it is thanks to you.
What are you going to do? It's what we do, isn't it? Like, take one day at a time. Some days you wake up tied up in a weird temple. Some days, well, I think you wake up, but I don't remember the waking up part. More wine.
Indeed, more wine. Come on, you, drink up.
Oh, all right, I'm drinking.
I need to catch up. Drink.
Yeah, I think at this point, Firoz has got like me on one side and Lazarus on the other, just sort of like grabbing him around the shoulders, just like drink.
Firoz is drinking it, but then has the idea, and he starts to tap the table, and then starts to sing a bit of a kind of a drinking song, and the sort of stuff that he would normally sing in the barracks when he was serving Lucius. Was one of his gladiators. It was one of the songs that they used to sing to keep morale high rather than when they were drinking. But just starts trying to see if that will distract them.
Perfect. I think Lazarus gets into it and starts dancing on the table now. There are wooden cups flying everywhere as he's sort of dancing on the table, drinking. What we need is some food, he sort of shouts. They are kind of used to this in the olive branch, and food is
Would have to be
rapidly
with Bilios.
brought across to you. In the meantime, a much more sober, the smells of the incense as you burn them, you muttering your words to Hecate. Not quite a religious one. This is to draw in your arcane abilities, to knit the very shadows together and give it form. And as you finish your ritual, Lucius, you see in the darkness of the corner of the room shadows coalesce, and two lights begin to flicker as you see the thing sort of move forward. Cat, feline, graceful, small, a large face full of fur as it prowls forward.
I'll reach my hand towards it.
As you do, it kind of moves, and its shadowy form, wings, move out from its body as it half jumps, half flies towards you. As you see one of these.
Ooh, a trestle.
Mm,
The gods bless.
you are indeed blessed. It kind of rubs its head into yours almost instinctively, realizing there is a bond, a connection between the two of you. I'm going to leave it up to you what colour it is, but it most definitely is this. And yes, indeed, the gods know Hecate has blessed you. I'm going to put the stat block across here for you. You probably know it already, but it needs to be named. Not instantly, you can have time to think, but a very useful familiar, much more powerful than many that are offered. Maybe you are blessed. How does this make you feel?
Massive smile kind of crosses my face, which almost looks sardonic in the way that it does so.
Mm-hmm.
Rubbing kind of across his head, down his back, down to the tail. Let's get you to get something.
It kind of again rubs. You realize very rapidly that this creature is no small cat. It has a sharp intelligence, and whilst it clearly understands every word you say, can't speak to you. So you lead it in and begin to feed it. It seems to like sort of creamed milk, one of its favourites. You hear it purr softly, although you think that is very much a ruse to endear itself to you. Its two yellow eyes intensely looking around, taking in its environment. Is there anything else you want to do, Lucius, or are you calling it a sort of night tonight now?
Yes, I'm definitely too old to be staying up any longer with an ammo.
Okay, so You take care of business and you settle down to try and get a long rest before undoubtedly you are going to be called upon for this 50-mile journey across the countryside to go tomb robbing. It is late, Oriana, after you have finished gathering the supplies, making preparations for the following day's travel. You have checked and double checked. You know the route. You are fully prepared. It would be interesting to know where your, can you call them friends, acquaintances, people that are tied to you are? Or do you not want to think about that till the last possible moment?
I did say I would join them, so I will keep to my word and
Oh,
go and
no.
see.
I think you are probably at least half a mile away when you can hear the noise coming from it. As you get closer, indeed. It's raucous, it is busy, but it is good-spirited. You see that Bilios and his comrades, Firoz now perhaps a little bit into his cups, perhaps getting into the mood, or perhaps not. That is for Firoz to say. But you do indeed catch up. Both you, Bilios, and you, Firoz, you do easily see Oriana arriving at the olive branch.
I think Firoz would be at the bar talking to the barman, watching what's happening, but not getting too inebriated. We'll wave to Orania as she appears.
Cool. You do indeed wave. And
I think at this point the song that Firoz started has got far too out of control. I've had my panpipes out. It's been awful for everyone involved, and Lazarus is probably pouring wine through my panpipes into my mouth at this point. And as I see Ionia, I just spit it all back in his face.
okay, it all comes out. Yeah, welcome to the olive branch, Oriana. What would you like to do?
She'll probably go up to the bar and get a drink and say hello to Firoz and kind of try to just take in the atmosphere a little bit. I think after the last day or so where it's been very fraught, and also kind of coming back to find people quite fractious and antagonistic, sort of portraying that potential influence of these kind of newer, younger, smaller gods,
Yeah.
less powerful. It's nice to kind of feel that sense of kind of everyone just having a good time.
Normality.
Yeah.
It does indeed feel good, and for the rest of the evening, it's easy to forget the weight that has been put upon your shoulders, and you do indeed relax into sort of drinking, unless there's anything particularly that you want to push to happen. We can see now you taking a long rest, or maybe not, if you plan to stay up drinking all night, and beginning to wake up the following morning, getting ready for your journey into the wilds. Are you eventually going to take a rest? And this is particularly to Bilios, I believe, rather than I think the other two probably are going to.
Yeah, no, I took a lot of beating.
Yeah.
I'm definitely
It's
going
fine.
to rest up.
There's nothing wrong. You can party hard and still take a rest.
You can party till you pass out if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Firoz drags you up to your room.
So you all gain the benefits of a long rest, which I've just done for you now. And it is a new day. The sun comes up once again. Fortunately, it's difficult to say with these gods retreating. Who knows? You've heard that Nyx is one of these newer gods, the Nyx's Knight. If they had their way, the sun perhaps would not come up. But you awaken, the heat of the sun already beginning to warm the air, the beautiful smell of salt on the sea breeze awakening you. It's another fine day in the Ionian Islands. What are your plans for today?
I think Firos would be up at first light and gone out for his morning jog. So just keeping those training techniques that he's always, past many years now he's worked on.
Perfect.
To keep fit.
Yeah, this is a routine. It's easy enough done, and you do a very good workout. There is a gym that you can train in as well, or you can just go for your run, or a bit of both. It is all there for you here in this idyllic place. Oriana, sorry, was you going to say something?
I was going to say, I think I run out to the gym and then back from there.
Yeah. Oriana.
She would go to the temple and do her devotions and obviously collect everything she needs. She'd be mindful of needing rations for at least 50 miles there and back.
Yeah.
Um,
So you reckon you could probably travel, provided no one sort of slowed you down, 24 miles a day. So you're talking about a 2-day journey there and a 2-day journey back. So 5 days should easily cover it.
okay.
But yes, I say you prepped and you planned and you got everything sorted, and it's relatively easy. You take your morning devotions, gather everything together. And have you arranged a place to sort of meet everybody? Can you remember late last night that you kind of drunkenly told people to be at a place at a certain time?
I don't know. I think she would just assume that it would be back at the Olive Branch, in as much as Firoz and Bilios probably mostly still there anyway.
Yes.
Um,
Well, I don't know. Let us find out. Bilios, where are you?
I probably sleep in a little bit. Maybe a bit of a later night than perhaps sensible.
Yep.
Quick question about are we tracking ammunition and stuff? Because I have been checking it off.
Yeah,
but I
that's
assume...
fine. Yeah, we are tracking. You can get 50% of it back after every encounter, so just be aware of that.
Cool. Yeah, I'll just top up. Make sure I've got a full quiver worth.
Okay.
And a full wineskin.
Yeah, it's 5 copper pieces per piece of ammunition. Just so you know, so for 20, it would equate to a gold.
Yeah, and also I'm assuming the Olive Branch is my usual place where I stay and everything.
Yeah.
So I'll take the citrine that we got from the harpy's nest to the barman and just make sure that it ends up in the hands of the shepherds when they come in for market day. There's some shepherds on the mountain. He knows who to give it to.
Okay. Kind of nods and says yes, of course, as usual. What have you got planned today?
Yeah.
And then finally we move to Lucius.
Most likely up early in the morning. Have the servants collect a horse and carriage if the family has one available, and prepare rations for the journey.
Yeah, that is easy enough done.
And then, of course, a few extra torches, because human.
Yep, that makes sense. And yeah, sounds like you are good and ready. Have you thought of a name yet? Or are you still
I think
want
we'll
to?
go with Aegon.
Aegon. Excellent.
Yep.
Okay, seems to like that. And it jumps into the carriage as well. Are you driving the carriage?
No, I will bring one of my 3 servant
Yeah.
options from the noble background to have them do the driving.
Absolutely, he's more than happy, and gets up and asks you where to, master.
Well, I'm sure they're still at the bar. Let's head down that way.
Okay. Kind of moves the horse forward, stirs it up, and it trots off. So you all begin to gather together. Firoz, you get back from your workout. Oriana from your temple duties, and Lucius from your household, bringing together a carriage and a driver too.
Everyone ready?
Well, I'm surprised Bilios is awake.
That's why.
I'm awake. Of course I'm awake.
Just to check, you're not sober again, are you?
Oh, no, don't worry. I've filled up the old wineskin.
Good. Be worried if you ever became twice sober.
Well, yes, well, the king has arrived and he's brought a carriage. Excellent.
Yeah, we take
And you
it
don't
now,
even
Bilios.
have to pull it this time.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you have a problem with it coming with us.
Does it
Probably
mean we
makes
can sit rather than walk?
Well, that's certainly my preference.
It's nice to see how the upper lot live, isn't it? Those with the money.
Not truly that expensive. I'm sure you could afford it after our last little venture.
Wow.
Then again, depending on how much you train.
Yeah, I mean, Lucius, you could offer him another contract.
I could, but not yet.
And Oriana.
Am I not good enough for you? God. Sorry, Oriana.
That's all right. I'm just chuckling away at you two. That's all.
That's not-
Yeah. She's happy to just kind of go along because she knows where we're going. So just say, right, we ready?
Okay, yeah, the carriage is acceptable. It might cause a little bit trouble once you get to the actual river valley. It seems that you might have to descend down there, but this will get you a good 45 miles. So it's going to save you a lot of time and speed up your journey as well. So you think a carriage is a good idea?
Well, yes, we should definitely take the carriage. It will definitely make it a lot quicker. The quicker that we get there, the less likely anyone else is to have got there. I'm definitely happy with that.
Okay, so you climb into the carriage. There is easy enough room in the carriage itself for 4 people, even with the bulk of Firoz. And you begin the journey. First of all, it follows roads. The journey is comfortable and you make good time. The roads turn into tracks, and even with the carriage, you know you're going to have to stay overnight. And as the tracks begin to come to an end and it becomes a little bit more wild, you're going to have to camp up for the night. What are people's plans? You can't all sleep in the carriage, but there's enough room for maybe 1 or 2 of you if you prefer, or you can experience the beautiful Iona nights and sleep out amongst the stars, unless some of you have brought a tent.
Firoz is quite happy, just slumming it as much as it is to relax out underneath these beautiful stars.
Yeah, and quite often, as it is in Ionia, the skies are crystal clear. It's a little problematic. The clearer the sky, the colder the air gets at night. But there's plenty of wood to make a nice welcoming fire. And the stars themselves are beautiful. There's no light pollution from the city. You can see the skies, and it's at this point, can any of you give me sort of an astronomy roll, really? So this would be either nature or survival, or maybe even religion or arcana. Oh dear.
I think
Stars
we
are
can see
pretty.
here who is staying inside their carriage.
Yeah, so Firoz, you chose survival, and you navigate by the stars. Most people do, especially in this part of the world where you can see them. And there's something wonky about them. Some of the stars are not quite right, not in the right place. That's strange. Lucius, you chose Arcana, and a different way of looking at it, but the stars are sometimes used to choose correct dates for rituals and the like. And again, the stars are just not right. They are different. The constellations are changing. New shapes are forming. It's very subtle, but something strange is happening. It's up to you whether you two want to mention something to any of the others.
I think Firos kind of lying out on the ground, staring up at these. You'll probably notice him kind of pointing towards them, trying to work out what's different, kind of mapping the constellations out again, as has been passed down in his family in the past. It doesn't seem right. You can probably visibly see the confusion on his eyes if you notice it.
Okay. So anybody who's listening to Firos hears him say that.
What do you mean it's not right? The stars, they're shiny. I mean, they're quite chilly as well, but mostly just shiny.
Well, that one up there, that was meant to represent. Trying to think of a quick constellation off the top of my head. I was trying to think of one that a pride of Leonins would have.
Maybe Leo?
Maybe Leo. That would seem like a sensible one to go for. See that one up there? That normally you'd have the flowing lines like that. You'd have that star to connect to there and down to there, and then you'd have a tail. But the tail seems to have moved. It would be down there. There's a star missing. I don't know what's happened. But there's another
So
one
the
up there.
giant sky lion lost its tail. Why is that? Well, did it get chopped off? Ooh, could you imagine losing your tail? Oh, that would hurt.
Lucius. I don't feel this
Yes.
conversation's going the way I wanted it to.
It certainly bodes ill. Our journey. Oriana,
Yes.
Count, take a look. I'm sure divinations may be more fruitful.
You think that now would be a good time to augury?
But I leave that to you.
Well, maybe you could just look at the stars and tell these idiots that they're stars.
Is Firos still lying down, looking at the stars?
Yes.
Okay. Aurania is going to lie down on the ground next to Firos, and she's going to say to him, "Show me again."
So Firos will point out the stars that he recognizes and draw the lines that he would expect to see, as was pointed out to him by his father.
And he's right. now that it's pointed out to you, I mean, you again, for your auguries, for your, I mean, the gods, their signs are in the sky amongst the stars, and they are changing. They're definitely changing. You can see it clearly now.
So are quite a few changes happening. It's not just this one star.
Yes, I mean, it's the night sky, and anyone who's stared at the night sky for long enough, you know it. You see more and more sort of stars, and you can make all sorts of shapes, but you are sure that some of the constellations are wrong. Some of the stars blinking out and other stars becoming brighter, almost as if the very gods are becoming lost, new gods becoming found.
She'll probably sit up quite quickly when she makes that realization that the stars have been quite broadly changed by the current events, and she'll turn round to the others and say to them, I think this is a symptom of what we have learned, that which we should not talk to others about the gods stepping back from us. Their visages are in the sky, and as they draw back from us, so it is harder to see them there. And as these other gods take more prominence, perhaps their faces will become clear to us in time.
I don't think that sounds good. But I'm tired now. I'm going to sleep.
And I think that is the perfect way to end the session, as ambivalence to the loss of the gods. I'm just getting some sleep, washes over Firos. Very nice. The religion role of a one is perfect. So I want to say a big thank you to all of our players. I hope you enjoyed it, and a big thank you to everybody in chat that stayed with us. Thank you very much. Tomorrow night we are doing Shadowless from 10:30 to midnight, and if things go well, we will have a brand new player entering the game. So I can't wait for them. I'm not going to say who, to introduce their character tomorrow night. In the meantime, everybody have an awesome Sunday. Stay safe, enjoy it, love one another, and I will catch you all very soon.